What is up, guys? It's good to see you. There is a NBA draft tonight, in case you didn't know. And there's going to be a tough love talk to my favorite Suns fans tonight. So with that being said, it's an all-Suns show. We'll bring back some Cardinals tomorrow, potentially. But it's an NBA draft special. We'll talk to you guys then.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Woo. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need them. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like calluses. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
What is up, guys? Welcome into yet another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. Thank you so much for making me a part of your day, especially after missing yesterday's show, but we will talk about that in just a brief moment, just briefly, nothing crazy, but there's a lot of things to get into today. It's a NBA draft special for your Phoenix Suns, a full Phoenix Suns show, once again, just like the other day, but we're doing it and running it back all over again. We'll get to some more Cardinals talk potentially tomorrow, but as of right now, it's all Suns. That's the hot and heavy topic, and that's what we have to serve to the masses. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. That's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. If it's a social media platform, I'm there at Ben Garcia Show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, potentially even tell a friend about the Ben Garcia Show. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys being here today. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Yesterday, just not feeling very well. Also not feeling prepped enough to be able to sit here and do a show in front of you. I feel like I've been doing this for a pretty decent amount of time now. Not just this, but like the sports podcasting realm, where I can pretty much just talk my way through anything. Yesterday, I didn't even feel I could do that. I didn't feel prepped enough. I didn't feel like I knew enough what I was talking about. Had to go back, do the research, and ultimately, you got to know when it's time to take a mental health day. Yesterday, there's a lot of things going on in life. It's busy. I needed a second to come back and actually have something real to say to you because I don't like to waste my time, and I sure as hell don't want to waste your time. So with that being said, let's get things rolling. Okay. Let's start here. Bradley Beal potentially on the trade market. Let's talk about this first, and then we're going to get into all the drafting and all the things because it's all comes together of one. Should the Phoenix Suns trade Bradley Beal? Sure. If it costs them a bunch of second-round picks, because at that point, then I don't care as much. Should the Phoenix Suns trade a first-round pick to get off of Bradley Beal? Hell no. Hell no. This team has already dug themselves a deeper hole enough than to continue to do so, throwing picks down the drain, getting rid of players. If the Suns had all their own first-round picks, and they never did the Kevin Durant deal, and they had a surplus of picks to be able to give to other teams with their players. Sure, but they don't have a lot of picks. They don't have a surplus of picks. So they have to find a way to get rid of Bradley Beal using only second-round picks. I am not in the business of digging ourselves a deeper hole with assets. You don't have many of them. I'm not willing to let go of a player just because I don't like him. Sit his ass on the bench. Don't play him. That's fine. You're going to have to pay him his money, and that is what it is. But I do not want to just throw away first-round picks. We don't have any of those. I don't care if they're not good first-round picks. We have to have swings at the bat. And so this idea to get rid of Bradley Beal just so we can get rid of him, I'm not on board with that. It's a really bad way of doing business. I don't want Bradley Beal here, any more than you do. But I'm not willing to dig myself a deeper hole just to make myself feel better that he's not going to come in the game. And there's another thing to it. I get it. Jalen Green and Bradley Beal cannot coexist. I am very skeptical that Devin Booker and Jalen Green can coexist. And I like Devin Booker. And I'm starting to buy into the idea of Jalen Green to make myself feel better. But Bradley Beal and Jalen Green can't coexist. Those two guys are oil and water. They are legitimately the same player. Devin Booker, I don't think it's going to work either coexisting with him, but I'm not trading Devin Booker. Don't play Bradley Beal. I don't care. But you can't just go and get rid of first-round picks. It's a really bad place to be. Matt Ishbia has always said he doesn't mind spending money. Time to spend it to keep those picks. It's exactly what the Suns need to do. Just trading him to trade him is not a smart place to be. If you can get something back for him because you gave up a first-round pick, then sure, maybe I might reconsider. But I have a hard time believing that A, they could trade him anywhere, and B, they could get anything for him. And I know, guys, Gambo and Flex, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I believe Gambo a lot more than I believe Flex from Jersey. I think Flex is a really nice guy, but I think his reporting is a little spotty, and I think is most of the time kind of indirect, like you're not really sure what he's trying to say. Whereas Gambo, when he reports, he tells you exactly what he's reporting. I don't buy that there are any teams out there for Bradley Beal, especially teams out there for Bradley Beal that would give you something for him. Now listen, that's my opinion. That could be incredibly wrong. I just don't see it, at least from my perspective. I don't see where you're going to get a player for Bradley Beal that isn't awful, and if you give up a first-round pick or anyone to take Bradley Beal for 5 second-round picks. I've looked around the league multiple times. It's really hard to come up with the money to take Bradley Beal on. The Bulls don't have it. The Pelicans just traded C.J. McCollum. They don't have it anymore. The Wizards, I texted a buddy who covers the Wizards yesterday. I asked him, would you give us your terrible contracts? Any one of them. I told him, I was like, pick your contracts for Bradley Beal in return, and we'll give you 5 second-round picks. He said, hell no. I said, what if I give you a first-round pick? He said, hell no. These are guys that cover the teams. I have a decent amount of connections where I can check on these things now. Maybe it happens, and I'd be floored. I'd be floored if it happened, actually. But I wouldn't be as floored because Gambo reported it. I don't see it, guys. I simply don't see it. And this is where my tough love segment comes into play. And then we're going to get deep into the draft. But this will lead into it. But I wanted to wait till we had an okay amount of people in the chat to talk about this. Some of you really need to get over Some of you really need to get over the 2021 Finals Phoenix Suns team. I get it. It's nostalgic. But that Suns team, you have to remember, it ended really poorly. Luka Doncic took you to the cleaners. And the argument is, well, I'd rather lose in the semifinals than not make the playoffs at all. No, that's not really true. You have the memory of the finals, and you think that team could contend each and every year for the finals, and that's just not true. Here's the harsh reality about the Phoenix Suns 2021 finals team. That is a magical experience. I grew up on the 7 seconds or less Suns. The Suns were my first love. But let's put it here. Sure, the Suns had injuries as well. Chris Paul got COVID. Chris Paul, hurt his nerve and I think his shoulder. To act like the Suns didn't catch some breaks in that finals is turning a blind eye, putting bird box blinders on. Anthony Davis got hurt in the first round when they were up 2-1. I don't know if the Suns lose that series, but we can't act like they didn't catch a break there. Now, Anthony Davis is always injured, so kind of not on the Phoenix Suns. Jamal Murray got injured before you played the Nuggets without Jamal Murray. And the very next year when they had Jamal Murray, they ran your ass out of town. And then in the Western Conference Finals, you played the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard. I'm not saying the Suns were a bad team. They were the 2 seed. They deserved to be there. But they got some breaks along the way too. Now, winning an NBA Finals typically takes a break or two. But that era is over. DeAndre Ayton, you were fine and happy to see him go because he was a lazy player. He had motor issues. And guys, after 1 year with the Portland Trailblazers, they drafted his replacement in Donovan Clingan. And now they have him on the trade block. Chris Paul is 40. He doesn't serve a real purpose anymore. Mikal Bridges, sure. I miss the guy too. I miss Cam Johnson too. I'm not giving up my 10th overall pick so I can feel nostalgic for a couple weeks just to realize, oh crap, this team needs younger star talent. It's time to move on. Those guys serve a really good place in Phoenix Suns history. They're in the good graces. And hell, maybe down the line, Mikal Bridges signs here again. And Cam Johnson signs here again. I'm not opposed to that. What I'm opposed to is getting rid of your very minimal assets because you feel nostalgic. And I see my guy in the chat, Brian Abdullah, saying, I mean, we missed DA, but have you seen the center rotation, what we went through? Yeah, you had the same issues with DeAndre Ayton. Sure, double-double guy, fine. But how many times did you watch DeAndre Ayton and say, man, I wish he'd try a little bit harder? And Booker and Kevin Durant were done with it. We have to put away that memory. Put it in the rearview mirror. It's time to start focusing on the next great Phoenix Suns team. Let me tell you a story while my wife is asleep. And because, she's not a madman. She's not up at 7 a.m. getting ready to start her day. I had this girlfriend once. And I'm not going to lie to you. I hated being with this girl. But I didn't know how to break up with her. And, fun fact about me, I've never broken up with a girl before. All of them broke up with me, so which might tell you who the problem is. But the thing about that was when we finally broke up, she broke up with me, and I could only remember all the good times we had. And gotta be honest with you, there weren't many, but I told myself my entire life I would never get back together with a girl until this girl. And this girl asked me to get back together with her again, and we did, because all I could do was remember all the good times. And we got back together, and it stunted my growth. We ended up breaking up anyways. It didn't work out. And all the bad times came back to fruition that I couldn't remember because emotions clouded my judgment. It's very similar to Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. They are that girlfriend that was awesome. You remember all the good times, but you thought you found someone better, so you broke up with them, and now you're remembering all the good times. What you don't remember is Luka Doncic stepping on your throat with both of those guys. What you don't remember is the following year, the reason why they traded Kevin Durant is because they weren't as good as some of the other teams in the Western Conference, i.e. the Denver Nuggets, who put you to bed. It's a little bit of tough love, guys. I love those dudes too. I hope maybe somewhere down the line, they come back and be Phoenix Suns again. Mostly the Twins. Not really DA. I'm over that experience. But I'm not giving up my future to do so. Look through the windshield. Stop looking through the rearview mirror. Let's start figuring out the next great Phoenix Suns team instead of looking back at the past on what used to be. Okay. Let's talk some NBA draft, shall we? It's draft night, baby. And I have got the perfect draft idea for the Phoenix Suns. There are a few guys I like in this draft. I like Colin Murray-Boyles, although he doesn't shoot the three ball particularly well. He only shot 35% of them in college. But that is a tough SOB with a pretty good ability to pass the ball and handles the ball pretty well. The issue is with Colin Murray-Boyles is he's 6'7". I like his ability down low to bang and bash around even with guys a little bit bigger than him. But if he's not as big and he can't shoot the three ball, where does he play? Is he a 3? Is he a 4? Is he a 5? I like Colin Murray-Boyles. If they come away with him, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to be pretty excited about it. Cedric Coward. I will judge you based on your age. My guy Brendan Clean of Locked On Phoenix Suns, he loves Cedric Coward. He's not going to judge you based on your age. I'm going to because he's 22 years old. Now, one of the better shooters in the draft, I think he was 40% from 3 if I'm not mistaken. Good defender, not super big, but big enough to play the wing. I like Cedric Coward. Genuinely, if they come away with Cedric Coward in this draft, I get it. You wanted to hit a guy with a low bust potential, but maybe not an insanely high floor. I like my guy Mark, where my guy's head Mark Brooks is at. Derek Queen. I like Derek Queen. Good handle. I don't think he's lazy on defense, but I don't think he's going to be a elite defender. Here's the problem with him. He's a bit of a tweener. I'm not sure what he is, a 4 or a 5. He, to me, feels like a much more polished Oso Ighodaro. And so with that, I just kind of think the Suns already have that. It's a bit redundant to what they already have. I think there is one option tonight for the Suns that if this happens, this is the perfect scenario for the Phoenix Suns tonight. And it's exactly who I would be rooting for them to draft. If Come on Malowak, I hope I'm saying that name correctly. I believe I am. Falls to number 10. The Phoenix Suns need to sprint to put in their draft pick and make that guy a Phoenix Sun. His ability to catch a lob and be uber athletic. He's not much of a shooter. I get it. But I like his ability to get cheap points around the basket. Uber athletic, 18 years old, could potentially turn into something even more down the line. That guy has got superstar potential. Now, he has to make it to the Phoenix Suns, which I'm very skeptical of. But because of defense, because of athleticism, I believe he is a future defensive player of the year in and year out candidate. And I like his ability to rebound the basketball. And you say to yourself, well, shouldn't every player be able to rebound the basketball? No. The Suns were a god-awful offensive and defensive rebounding team, period. They were a terrible defensive. The Phoenix Suns were a terrible rebounding team, period. But an even worse offensive rebounding team at times as well. How many times were teams getting second, third, fourth, and fifth chances on the offensive side of the ball? I think Malowak helps that ability to rebound the basketball. He's a 7'2" player, every bit of that. I just want to be sure I'm getting his height exactly correct. I know I had him down here in my notes, but he's a 7-foot player with a 7'6" wingspan. He is an incredible lob threat where if you throw it anywhere around the basket, his pure athleticism is going to bring it down and jam it. He is a defensive anchor that I believe has the potential of being a defensive player of the year in and year out candidate with insane upside. I like him so much for the Suns, especially to help fill the holes defensively. If you're talking about a defense that a starting lineup it contends with Dylan Brooks, Ryan Dunn, and Kamal Malawak, you are talking about a future suffocating defense, and it helps you hide Devin Booker and Jalen Green's deficiencies just a little bit more. Because of the lob threat, because of the defensive upside, he is the perfect pick at number 10 if he falls to the Phoenix Suns. And if he gets there, then you sprint up to the podium and make the selection. Now it makes 29 very interesting. This wouldn't be my first player off the board at 29. But because the Suns solved what I believe and is perceived to be their biggest issue right now, the center position, if you could come away with Drake Powell in this draft, someone who shot the three ball particularly well, although not on many attempts, insane vertical, insane athlete, and I believe his defense is going to translate at a better level for the Phoenix Suns. He'll be able to switch on to a bunch of different guys, on-ball defense. He is your prototypical 3-and-D player. He's not going to create his own shot using pure athleticism. He's not a playmaker, but he can shoot the three ball at a 37% clip in college, has a 43-inch vertical, and that's what the Suns need to do. They need to focus on filling holes and getting pure athletes. And if you add Drake Powell to that mold, a prototypical 3-and-D player, that right there would be the perfect pick out of North Carolina at number 29. And if I'm being honest with you, my guy Brendan brought this up yesterday. I don't really know what the difference is between Carter Bryant and Drake Powell. Again, this isn't a thought from me. This is a thought that, again, I thought of in my head, but Brendan said out loud during our show yesterday. Carter Bryant, who I know a lot of Phoenix Suns fans like, it turns out he might be a little bit shorter than was said at the draft combine. Drake Powell is a pure 6'7", 6'6" player with a 7-foot wingspan. He shoots the ball better than Carter Bryant did in college. And you kind of wonder why Carter Bryant never really played. He was coming off the bench. He wasn't trusted in big spots. Drake Powell, I think this is going to be someone that falls to 29 because he just doesn't have the hype of a guy like Carter Bryant. He is effective at the rim. He has got an insane wingspan. And he is an athlete. And he's one of the few 3-and-D players that can actually shoot the ball. Not in an insane clip, but he will knock down open three-point shots. And what this Suns team needs is if you can get a defensive player with some offensive upside, you make that happen right then, right there. So that would be my perfect draft night scenario. Perfect. Kamal Malawak at 10 if he falls, and then Drake Powell to solidify the wing position at 29. I would be so ecstatic if that's what the Suns came away with tonight. Because you're talking about a defensive stopper with pure athleticism around the rim to get you cheap buckets, and a 3-and-D wing who I believe is overlooked and is only 19 years old with a ton of room to grow. A pure 3-and-D wing. He's actually a really good on-ball defender and can actually shoot the three ball and has really good athleticism. Now, let's call it what it is. The Phoenix Suns, I guess I should say, and that would be my perfect draft night scenario. But let's call it what it is. That right there, it might not happen. That is a fairly lucky scenario for Kamal Malawak and Drake Powell just to fall in the laps of the Phoenix Suns. So let me give you a couple of other guys who I would be rooting for in this instance. If Colin Murray-Boyles fell to 10, I think that would be my number one draft pick. For a lot of the reasons I said before. Playmaking, big body, and in the rim, just a tough-as-nails player that could get things done around the post. The Suns had so much trouble in the painted area, and they had so much trouble rebounding last year. He could help with that. I believe he's a high-floor guy. Number two on that, or another player on that list, I would take a flyer on Carter Bryant. I know I just talked about I'm not really sure the difference, but I do, like, in this part of my career, I have some sourcing, like, not in terms of, like, breaking news, in terms of, like, what do players who cover that team think of Carter Bryant? And I've talked to a few different people I respect. They all speak very highly of Carter Bryant. And so, although I compared him to Drake Powell, and I'm not really too sure what the massive comparison is there, I do think Carter Bryant could serve a purpose in the NBA. So I like him as well at 10. But ultimately, if the Suns could trade back, the Oklahoma City Thunder give up a pick or two. Like, let's say the Oklahoma City Thunder give up pick 24 and 15 to the Suns for number 10. I would do that to have more swings at the bat. And then I feel much more comfortable taking Carter Bryant there. As well as Cedric Howard. Here's the most important mold that I'm trying to pick for the Suns. Because I believe the Kevin Durant trade was so horrid, it makes this pick so much pressure to get it right today. So one of the reasons why I like Cedric Howard out of Washington State, a guy who rejected an offer to Duke to come to the NBA draft, is because good defender and shoots the three ball well. Little bit older, upside might not be there as much as I thought it was going to be with other players, but I know he's going to hit his floor. And I know his potential is maybe the fourth best player on a championship winning team, but probably like the fifth or sixth best player. And I can live with that. What I can't live with is a bust. So I like Cedric Howard too. If the Suns take a wing at the 10th overall spot, at the 29th overall spot, I'm looking at a guy like Maxime Reynaud. I'm not a huge fan of Maxime Reynaud, but he's one of the few bigs that can shoot the three ball effectively in terms of he is a stretch five. Defensively, he's not great. Gonna be honest with you, it's not great. But I like the fact that he's aggressive at the basket, meaning he will put the ball on the ground and get to the basket and score. Fairly good at the rim. Again, cheap buckets. I like that for the Phoenix Suns. But because of his stretch five ability, and at the 29th overall pick, I'm willing to take a little bit of a risk because I believe at 10 that they will be getting a wing with a high upside. I do like Maxime Reynaud here. Also, Adu Thiero from Arkansas. Freaking athlete. I really like that. Fast, good first step, slasher, good finisher. 63% of his field goals came at the rim. Really good defender. And one of the things I like about him is he just tries really, really hard. And the Suns didn't have enough of those guys last year. And again, at the 10 pick, at the 10 pick, I think we're going to get someone with a little bit of a higher floor. So I'm willing to take a risk at 29 just a little bit more. He's got to work on his three-point shooting. And that seriously has to get fixed. I hate his shot. But at the 29th overall pick, if I can get a freak athlete who just tries really, really hard, who I believe will get in the gym and work on the jumper just a little bit more, I'm willing to take that risk there. But those are some of those guys in the chat. What's the love affair with Bryant? He's Richard Jefferson. Would you ask Jefferson to play power forward. LOL, just silly. I think you just showed up late because Carter Bryant is not my first option at the 10 spot. If we're talking about like just rankings, I'd rather Malowak, Colin Murray-Boyles, and it's really close between Cedric Coward and Carter Bryant. But Carter Bryant's a little bit younger with, I think, a little bit more upside, so I would go with him. Anyways, guys, I saw my guys. Okay, I like Asanul at number 10. Yeah, man, I can't go Asanul at number 10. That is a real. Listen. I think that's a reach a bit there. I would bring Newell back if I could trade back into the draft for Asanul at 20. All in. I totally get what you like about Asanul. I would do it as well. At 10, bit of a reach. Bit of a reach there at number 10. But also, if you really like someone, you got to take that player. So I get what my guy, the May shows, says about that. Either way, fellas, it's a very busy day for me. I got to go on a bunch of different shows. That's like one of the good things about expanding and growing is people want you on their shows, which is awesome. And I appreciate you guys making that happen. Mark Brooks, if Malowak is gone, I'm not going to try to pronounce that guy's name, but I know who you're talking about. I would just like Colin Murray-Boyles, Carter Bryant, and Cedric Coward better. But I get the love affair for this guy. But I think, again, he's more of like a 16, 17 pick, not a top 10 guy. But anyways, who really knows the NBA draft? It's a bit of a crapshoot. I appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. Don't forget, guys, listen, I did a lot of research on these guys. It'd be great if you guys could like, share, subscribe. That'd be amazing. Thank you so much for making me a part of your day. And I will talk to you guys when I see you again. Also, guys, thank you again for the love affair you guys are showing me on social media. It has been awesome to be able to tweet something out. People reply to it. And I love being able to reply back to you guys. So follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. And if you are someone that has an opinion about me, has an opinion about a take, tweet me, DM me. Let's talk about it. I love interacting with you guys because without you, there is no Ben Garcia Show. So do me a favor, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, potentially tell a friend about the Ben Garcia Show, as well as follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. Tomorrow, we will be back reacting to the Phoenix Suns' first round pick and probably some Cardinal stuff as well, potentially. Appreciate you guys making me a part of your day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Oh, as well as Locked On Phoenix Suns, we will be reacting tonight after the game or after the draft. So expect something from Brendan Clean and I later tonight. Appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.